Oh my gosh, we're back at it again, all you BC WrestlePod nerds out there. Full transparency, we just got off of the Dynamite review, so this one hopefully it's not going to take as long. But we are now shifting gears and we are doubling down on this crew of reviewers because, surprise, surprise, we are here going from just our three gents to the Grapple Gurus, we're about to make predictions for AEW's Double or Nothing pay-per-view. And at the time of this recording, Collision and Rampage have yet to air, so who knows how many more matches they're going to announce. They're going to throw like 20 more matches.
I was going to say, they're going to add like...
Just have like 15 zero-hour matches,
Jesus.
but it's going to be crazy. But myself, Professor, and our special guest, Andrew, we are going to be making some predictions here for Double or Nothing. I'll probably get Adolfo's during Collision, so we'll see how that goes. But here's how we're going to do these predictions. We're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to work our way up the list. We're going to start with the matches that just got recently announced and work our way up to the matches that have been announced for the longest time. So without, in the words of Kenny Omega, without further ado, let's just jump into it. So the first match we're going to be talking about at the time of this recording, it hasn't been determined if this is going to be the championship. I'm going to work under the assumption it's probably going to be a championship match. But regardless of whether it is or not, my choice remains the same. But we have the Bang Bang Gang, also known as Bullet Club Gold, Jay White and the Guns, taking on the returning Death Triangle, which makes me super excited. But regardless, for Death Triangle, I'm picking the Bang Bang Gang to win this one, unfortunately, which makes me very sad to say.
Yeah, I don't think they take it from them here. I think they're going to let this ride even longer, which is a mistake, in my opinion. I think they might let this feud last a little bit longer because it seems like they're kind of stuck in taking 9 titles hostage.
Lord have mercy.
I just don't see them pulling the trigger on this so soon. But I love me some Death Triangle. I think that's super fun. I think it creates something long term, but meh, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I agree. I think this whole stuff with Bullet Club Gold is they're going to keep the titles. I don't put this into the air, and I hope nothing like this happens.
Oh, no.
I don't see them putting the titles on a team that's made up of Pac, who has continued travel issues, and Rey Fenix, who has continued injury issues. I think if nothing else, they're going to wait to see how long this trios can actually stay a trios. I think the best we can get out of this is that maybe we actually get to have more than 2 trios teams competing for the trios title at some point. But yeah, I don't think they're taking it off of the Bullet Club Gold at this point.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for sure. But we're going to move on from that. So majority of us have picked the Bang Bang Gang. And we move on to the match that everyone is excited about, the FTW Championship
Match of the night.
Triple Threat. It's going to be the main event according to Andrew.
Oh my God, watch it be the main event.
It better not be. I will turn off my Bleacher Report immediately. But for the FTW Championship, we have the Learning Tree, Chris Jericho, defending his title against Hook and Katsuyori Shibata. As much as it pains me to say this, I don't care. I'm not going over the story of how we got here because I don't care. I don't want to talk about it. And then, unfortunately, it pains me to say this: Chris Jericho is not retired. Well, he could retire, and that would be something. But he's retaining this championship. And my biggest thing is it's gonna hurt no matter who he pins. I will cry if Shibata gets pinned, but I think Hook is getting pinned in this one.
I agree. I do think it's Chris Jericho. I don't think that Chris Jericho is going to let them move on from him so fast. I think they're going to let him play this horrible heel angle. I think Big William is going to get involved somewhere, somehow, and just make it shenanigans. I think Shibata takes the pin. I think he eats it, and I think Hook is too late to save it. And I do think there's going to be some other post-match madness thing that happens. But we're going to deal with more Chris Jericho ruining this title.
Yeah, Chris Jericho for sure is winning this. We're not getting around this. We're stuck with this tree for a while. Hopefully someone chops it down soon.
Chop it down.
Set it on fire. I don't know. No one wants to make a book out of this anyway. So, yeah, I don't really know who's going to take the win, but I think it's going to be Hook or Shibata is going to incapacitate one, and then Jericho's just going to take advantage of it. It's a
Right.
triple threat match, no matter what
Yeah.
they want to call it, which also I believe means there's no DQ and shenanigans can happen. And the fact that Will is, there at ringside to help out Christopher, it's only a matter of time before something happens like that. I think realistically, the most interesting thing we could get out of this would be somebody else decides to, eat the fruit of this poisonous tree, and we can see who else can get swallowed up by its shadow. But yeah, Jericho's gonna win.
Yeah. All right, we're moving on. I don't want to talk about that. And then we move on to a match that I felt like the feud for it ended already, but we got to have it on a pay-per-view. And just a straight up singles match, no stipulation, no nada, no nothing. Orange Cassidy versus Trent Beretta. I mean, this has been stemming because Trent betrayed after Orange and him failed to capture a spot in the finals to the vacant at that time AEW World Tag Team Championship match going into Dynasty. Chucky T and him had a parking lot brawl in which Chucky T lost and got an ankle smashed in. And I'm hoping the reports aren't true that Chucky T now got to retire from in-ring competition. But, I hope that's not true. Orange beat Trent. But Trent spiked him on the stairs afterwards, which was very gnarly to watch. In a weird way, I picked Orange to win still. It's really hard to bet against Orange Cassidy, especially after he took the pin in the match on Dynamite. So I'm picking Mr. Orange Cassidy to win here.
I'm picking Orange Cassidy too. I think this is another match that has some sort of post-match weird attack thing. We'll find out exactly what that is when we get there. I think this could potentially be one of the best matches of the evening, at least on paper. And seeing them the last few weeks, I'm like, okay, they could bring it. This could be amazing. I am intrigued. I agree with you. The feud hasn't really kept my interest. I thought this was all done with. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yep, I think Orange Cassidy is going to win.
Cool. All right, so now we got through the weight of the matches to the rest of this card. I am actually really ecstatic for.
Sure.
So next up, this is the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship Eliminator match. So this is going to be Konosuke Takeshita taking on our current IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, Jon Moxley. Should Takeshita win this match, he will get a future shot at the IWGP Championship. I am super stoked for this match. Mox is going to be Mox in this match. Takeshita is amazing. I just wish he was utilized better. I am going to pick Takeshita to win this match through shenanigans. And I'm going to take it a step further. I'm calling my shot, and I know when this match is going to be happening.
Oh.
I know where the...
What do you think?
So, the match is going to main event Forbidden Door.
Yeah, I buy that.
Oh, which, by the way, we're also going to figure out who's going to be facing, which we'll talk about later, facing for the AEW World Championship at Forbidden Door after next week's Dynamite. Should be interesting. But I'm picking Takeshita, and I'm going a step further. It's main eventing Forbidden Door this year.
This is... I hope it's Takeshita, because then we have somewhere for Takeshita to go. But usually when I pick something that I think is correct,
if it makes sense,
if it makes sense, they're not going to do it. So I'm going to go with my gut and go Takeshita, even though I would not be surprised if, with all the shenanigans in the world, Jon Moxley still pulls this one out somehow.
I think it's Takeshita too is going to win. When I initially saw this, I thought it was for the title. Which, by the way, why don't they just call it a proving ground match since, they have Ring of Honor? But when I thought it was a title match, I assumed Moxley was going to win because New Japan's not going to have their title change hands on AEW in an AEW ring like that, at least when it's not a joint event. Now that it's an eliminator match, it would be stupid for Takeshita to not win, because if he's not going to win, why not just make it a title match? If you have it an eliminated title match or eliminator match specifically to set up something for the future. So yeah, I think that's probably going to be what's going to happen. I do find it interesting that they said he gets this title match no matter who the champion is, whether it's Moxley or somebody else. So it'll be interesting. They could do a lot of stuff between now and then. But yeah, I think Takeshi's going to win this one, and it'll probably be a really good match.
I think it's going to be a really good match, too. Okay, so on paper, I was like, oh, this is going to be a cool match that next we're going to talk about. Then Dynamite happened, and I kid you not. This is the match that I am the most anticipated to see what kind of shenanigans, tomfoolery, chicanery, craziness is about to happen. So this is for the TNT Championship in a barbed wire steel cage match. Mr. Adam Copeland, the champion, defending it against the leader of the House of Black and Malachi Black. Normally, I try to make my predictions logically, and normally that's where I end up getting the high scores. I'm going to betray my logic. I'm going to go with my heart with this one. Based on the way that we've been telling the story, even though Malachi Black got drenched in the brood bath on Dynamite, I'm going to pick Malachi to win here. I think this is the match for Malachi to finally get a singles title run. And again, doesn't make a lot of sense, no, given the fact that Copeland has beat pretty much all of House of Black up to this point in the story we've been telling. But I think that even though we have Brood Edge back, Malachi is just a little bit darker and will go a little bit further than Copeland will ever be able to. Because the Brood Bath is one thing, but you are messing with the House of Darkness in House of Black. And Malachi is the patriarch of this unknown evil force. So I think Malachi will do the thing that Copeland cannot do and go further to secure that win. So I'm picking Malachi Black to win this one.
I respect that. I don't agree with you, but I respect it. I'm gonna go with Adam Copeland, but I'm gonna call my shot, and I'm going to. I hope he enters to the old school Brood remix or music or something.
So
that there's some sort of flame and Brood Edge comes out. Bonus points if he gets that weave going. And we see this beautiful blonde weave Edge out of nowhere. That's not going to happen. That just makes me happy. I think that's where we're going. There's a part of me that really hopes that's where we're going. I don't know if it's going to happen. Maybe that's just me being childish. I've been calling for Rikishi to show back and the other promotion to fix all those problems because in my head, Rikishi could.
We've gotten everything but Rikishi.
Everything but. So I think it's Adam Copeland. I don't think they're going to take the title out of him this soon, or at least like this. I think we're gearing up for something else. I love me Malachi Black. I love House of Black. I think they deserve better. Absolutely they do. I think they're going to prolong this in the way this is going. I think this might turn into Adam Copeland versus all of the House of Black in this match. In some ways, some sort of chicanery, but we'll see.
I agree. Going into this initially before watching Dynamite this week, I thought Malachi Black might win. Part of me I was kind of hoping he would win because I agree. Sure. We need to do more with all three of these people, and I think they've already been the trios champions. Let them each go after singles titles, and this looked like an opportunity for Malachi Black, but after watching Dynamite and the hope of a Brood Adam Copeland returning makes me so happy. I think this will be one of the pinnacles of his reign with the TNT title because I don't think we're going to see him. I feel like Adam Copeland and Christian are both trying to have these really stellar ends of their careers, but they don't feel like they need to they don't need to hold those world titles. They don't need to be at the top in that way to be at the top going out. And I think this match will be one of those matches that will be like, yeah, we remember this as one of those top matches that Adam Copeland had in his professional wrestling career, and him coming out matching Malachi Black's darkness with that. The other thing that makes me kind of think he's going to win this is the fact that they took his wedding ring. And I feel like that's something he has to win back. So I feel like all of those things combined, I think Adam Copeland is going to come out of this. And I think we're going to see him do some stuff before he finally either loses or vacates that title.
True. Regardless, I'm hell hyped for this match.
Sure. Yeah.
I need a redemption because WrestleMania 2 years ago, it should have been a baller, but we had to stop because Finn Balor got busted open by a ladder.
Credit to him for getting stapled up in the ring now.
Hell yeah, Finn Balor is that guy, and I want another title reign from him. But that's for a different review team. So we move on to our next match, which is going to be Anarchy in the Arena. So this has had a lot of changes over the last couple of weeks because it's Team Elite versus Team AEW. Now, originally, Team AEW consisted of FTR, Eddie Kingston, and Bryan Danielson. I believe I was here on the Dynamite when I said this. It was me and JBL when we got this initial reveal. I was like, Should have been FTR and the Motor City Machine Guns, but I'll take what I can. I'm just saying. But then Eddie Kingston is out injured and learned today that he's going to be out until May of 2025.
Wow.
So he's going to be out for a whole year, which sucks.
Wow.
So now it's Team Elite, which is the Young Bucks, Jack Perry, and Kazuchika Okada, taking on the team of FTR, Bryan Danielson, and a returning Darby Allin. Darby is about to get thrown all over the place. This man, if we thought going through glass at Revolution was a lot for us to witness, I'm afraid to imagine what Darby has up his sleeve. Is he going? The only thing he can is that flamethrower is about to be used and somebody's about to catch on fire. Like,
be cool.
But all to say, I kind of wish that we built up to this a little bit longer. And this is my biggest issue with a lot of AEW stories. You could have done this Elite versus AEW thing a lot longer than it has, because it's only been like, what, a month and a half or so since we've been doing this. And now we're getting Anarchy in the Arena, which I feel like should have been the finality of a longer story, but we're getting it here. As much as I love Team AEW, I'm going with the Team Elite on this one to win. It's kind of hard to have Okada and the Bucks lose right now. But, crazier things have happened in AEW. But for the sake of it, I'm going to go with Team Elite to win Anarchy in the Arena.
It's a coin flip for me. I don't care. I should care. I want to be more interested. There's other things on here I'm more interested in. I love seeing Darby come back for sure. I always love watching Bryan Danielson. I love some folks in here. I'm just sort of, what is this? Why are we doing this? Sure. Yeah. Team AEW. I'm going to go the opposite. Why not?
Double elimination. Nobody wins. No, I'm just kidding.
Nobody wins. That's what it is.
Agree.
Someone gets pinned from each faction at the same time, so they cancel each other out. So
don't
nobody
get
wins.
me started. Me and Will had a whole Right Fest of how we got our triple threat for the North American Championship at NXT.
And nobody's paying attention, and the wrong people get pinned. Anyway.
Yeah, like the triple threat we got for the FTW title. Anyway, this, I agree. I don't really care about this. The little bit I've seen of the build-up has actually made me care less about this match. I just feel like no one on the Elite is taking a pin from anyone or tapping out to anyone on Team AEW because they're trying to make them the hot thing, which, to the credit, Okada and Jack Perry should be, because they've built up a lot of
fantastic
popularity outside of AEW, so they should be smart about how they use them, but it still feels very other promotion-y. They're all great wrestlers, but I don't really care about this match.
Well, I mean, speaking of not caring, AEW didn't really care about building a good story in this match that we're about to talk about next. But for the AEW Women's World Championship, on paper, has me excited, but the story building has been trash. But we have Timeless Toni Storm, our champion, defending the title against the Professor of 1,000 Submissions. So there's a debate of which professor is the best professor here at BC WrestlePod.
Oh, it's not me.
This one's really easy to pick. There's no way Tony's losing this title, which, it's unfortunate because that's the same thing I say every single time Toni defends her title the last 3 or 4 pay-per-views. It's like, this is going to be a good match. But there's no way Tony's losing this one because you haven't given me a reason to believe that her opponent's going to take it.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah.
By the way, I wasn't here, but that strip tease was crazy. I was like, what are we doing?
Yeah. Made a choice. They went with it.
Horny wrestling fans.
We're all in agreement?
It's Toni.
Yeah.
Serena Deeb is like the rebound challenger. Like, we all know that she's not going to be the champion. It's a bummer. But yeah, AEW is yet to build up or find someone that legitimately they are going to put that title on and dethrone.
If you book the women properly, you'd fix a lot of that.
Yeah. I mean, it's really going to come down to a returning Britt Baker, a returning, like bringing someone like Athena over from Ring of Honor. It's going to take bringing in someone like that to take that title off her. And to her credit, it's because Toni Storm has made herself into a character that is just at the top of the game.
Yeah, so that's easy for us. All right, so another match that's for me is easy to predict. For the AEW World Championship, whose house? Swerve's house. Swerve Strickland taking on Christian Cage. I think this match is going to be great. I think it's going to be fun. Swerve is not losing the title, so I'm picking Swerve to retain.
I agree. I think it's more interesting that Swerve does not lose the title, because now Christian has something to push against. Partly in my heart, I don't want Christian to win because like Andrew was saying, one, doesn't need it, already has it, doesn't have to hold a title. And two, I want the Brood back together. And the only way that's going to happen is if Christian loses a few more times and gets mad at the patriarchy. I know, but the 14-year-old me has to root for something these days. I don't got a lot going for me. So I'm hopeful the Brood comes back.
Yeah, I mean, Swerve Strickland's not losing this. He just won the title. Christian Cage isn't the person to take it off of him. Christian Cage is also, it's like Serena Deeb, like, except to the point that Christian Cage has been built up really well over the last, few months and everything. It's someone that you can put in there that is an exciting match that has some heat going on him until we can build up or figure out who's going to actually be a threat and a real, feud to Swerve.
I'm still excited for this match, but yeah, Swerve, it'd be really weird if Christian won, but we'll see. Because, again, it's the world of professional wrestling. They've done crazier things. All right, so now we get to the last two matches, and also these are at the top of my list of how hype I think they're going to be, and I hope they deliver. But for the AEW International Championship, Roderick Strong defending his title against the new hot thing in AEW right now. Just a little wrestler that some people may or may not have heard about, just by the name of Will Osprey. No big deal or anything. This match, excuse my French, we're far enough into this video. This match is about to fucking slap you guys. Like, this is the, technical wise, this is the match that I'm looking forward to the most. And I can't believe I'm saying this because normally I don't root against my boy Will. I'm picking Roderick to retain here because I think this is where Will Osprey has his first loss like this in a singles match, I should say. Because technically he lost the tag team match, even though he didn't get pinned. But this is the first singles loss, I think, in AEW. I think through shenanigans, I think Roderick Strong, retains his title.
I think there will be shenanigans. I think all hell will break loose. I think this is the match of the night. This should be up there with Edge. Oh, can't say that. I'm going to get sued. Adam Copeland and Malachi Black. And the next match, which we'll talk about, should be the three matches of the night. I think they pull the trigger. I think it's an international title. I think they play the hot hand. I think they give the Undisputed some reason to fracture and fight within themselves. I think this gives Wardlow a way out. I think Osprey takes it. I think they get the pop heading into the summer. I think the matches that we could get, Osprey versus whoever we want, I think we can get the jealousy within the Phallus family and sort of who is the champion. We have a champion now, and then the infighting of that stuff. You have the potential for another Osprey to cash it, rivalry, angry thing in there. There's a few things in there that you could do more with if Osprey wins it here. So I'm going with my heart, and usually when I do that, I'm wrong. I think the smart move is to give it to Will and pull the trigger here. And now that we got to pivot, the Undisputed doesn't know what we're doing because of Adam Cole. I think this is your way out.
I also chose Will Osprey purely out of wanting Will Osprey to win this.
Absolutely.
He's the top of everything right now. You need to put that title on him because I think he needs to have one mid-card title run before you start having him go into that world title picture. The only thing that worries me is, I don't know for yet at the breakup of the Undisputed Kingdom, and it would be interesting to see where Roddy would go if he loses this title. And the fact that Bennett and Taven still have their titles, and mind you, they're Ring of Honor titles, so in AEW, they're just, there to give them something to carry. But I also could see this being the beginning of the fracture of the Don Callis family, with Osprey losing, maybe through shenanigans of Callis trying to do something to help him win and instead costing him the match.
That's interesting.
Which does make me nervous, but I pick Osprey because, no pun intended, I want to will it into existence. I would just love for him to win this match. But yes, I agree. I think this will be the match of the night, as good as many of the other matches can be. The two of them together are just going to work this match so well. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, absolutely. But Speaking of awesome matches and speaking of willing things into existence, the final match we're going to talk about, I'm willing into existence that this should be the main event for me. But, AEW is afraid to put a women's championship in the main event because, sexism. No, just kidding. Or maybe not. I'm not. Just book your women's division better, AEW. Then I wouldn't have this problem with you.
It solves so many of these problems.
What should be the main event, even though I complained about how the build of this has been happening, but still, for the TBS Championship, Willow Nightingale defending her title against Mercedes Moné. I've complained about the longest time that, we've kept Willow and Mercedes so far apart in this whole entire thing, because a lot of it has been some back and forth. And then last week happened, and then I was just like, okay, now I'm sold. This is the one match I'm having a big, hard time with because it's 50-50 for me. I don't think Mercedes should lose her first big match in AEW. However, I don't want Willow to lose her title so soon. But because the seeds have been planted and things have been going on for the longest time, especially since Adolfo and I do Collision and Rampage, so we're well versed in the story that we've been telling. Mercedes Moné wins this title, and it's because Willow loses the title because somebody very close to her costs her the championship, and this is where I think we get the Chris Statlander heel turn, because we've been teasing it for a while now, but I'm picking Mercedes to win this title, and it hurts me to say it.
That's what I want to pick, but if it makes sense, they're not going to do it. I'm going to lean on our moniker. You're absolutely right. That's absolutely what they need to do and what they should do. I think Willow retains. I think they make Mercedes Moné wait even longer just to needle us. I think that there is something that happens here that starts the heel turn. I don't think we're there yet, but we are absolutely close. I'm not sure if that's shenanigans and they don't go well or they don't go right, or if it almost costs her the title and then it doesn't quite happen, or there's some sort of, I hesitate to say this, I don't think this is true, Mercedes Moné is in on something and something goes even beyond what we're thinking. Mercedes Moné is in on the heel turn for somebody else, possibly. Something's not right. So I think they're going to do that as opposed to doing the right thing. So I'm picking against that.
I'm picking Mercedes Moné. I think I agree, with Mikey. I don't think she's losing this. Similar to Will Osprey, I think, we're talking about people who were recently signed, coming in with a lot of heat, a lot of interest. People want to see them do things and have felt like they haven't. Not Will. Will has been on TV like every week at least once. But with Mercedes, I think this match was being set up to put the title on her. Now, if they're smart, they won't make this like they've done with many of the women's title races. This won't be a one and done. Mercedes will win this, whether it's through shenanigans or whatever. I think she gets her victory back. I think she gets the title. She holds the title for a while. And whatever Willow goes through, we see these two, maybe it ends up in a best of 3 or something, but we see these two go at each other for a while around this title, ideally building up other women in this division as well. But so often AEW brings in a person, builds them up to challenge for a title, they lose, especially if it's a new person they sign, and then they kind of get pushed to the wayside. But I don't think that's happening with Mercedes, and I hope with as much as Willow has done, she's not going to just get kind of lost after dropping the title.
Well, boys, we did it. Not as long as Dynamite, but about half the time. But we've made it through our Double or Nothing predictions. God, this is going to be a long card. And that's not including anything that's probably going to be on 0 Hour either. That's wild that these are just all on the main card, which is nuts.
I'm a fan. I love watching this 0 card stuff. I got stuff to do. I'll do what I can.
0 Hour doesn't really equate to anything. Though sometimes 0 Hour tends to be better than the main card. Ask those of us that watched the Super Card of Honor for ROH in April. 0 Hour ended up being so much better than the main card itself. But we are done. By the time this video comes out, Double or Nothing will be occurring in a couple hours. So it should be very interesting to see what happens with all of that. But make sure you come on back the following day on Memorial Day on Monday, because the AEW crew which is myself, Professor, JVL, and Adolfo. The four of us are going to be reviewing not Dynamite. Well, we might be talking about Dynamite, but we will be reviewing Double or Nothing. Too many pay-per-views to start with the letter D around these parts. But from all of us here at the BC Wrestle Pod, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay iconic. More importantly, you deserve to finish your story, and enjoy Double or Nothing, and we'll see you for the review. But until then, for now.
Did you guys ever play Pokemon Snap?
Sure.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another Vibe Tribe production. What's gonna happen next time? Well, you're gonna have to tune in to find out. But until then, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, make sure that you keep the good times rolling. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.